South Africa's political future is being shaped by men far closer to retirement than renewal. Across the country's biggest parties, aging struggle-era elites who are irrelevant in a 21st century political landscape and yet remain clinging on to power with no credible successors waiting in their wings is the reality we are seeing here in South Africa across most political parties. The president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, is 73 years old. Its deputy president, Paul Mashatile, one of the younger guys, is 64, which is the exact same age as his predecessor, David Mabuza, was when he passed away last year. The third in command in the ANC is Gwede Mantashe, who is turning 71 this year. In fact, the only member of the ANC's so-called Big Six that is younger than 50 years is Maropene Ramokgopa, who serves as the minister in the presidency responsible for planning, monitoring and evaluating. Likewise, the Umkhonto weSizwe party is united around the figure of former President Jacob Zuma, who is turning 84 years old this year. In fact, the only leader in any of the 10 largest political parties in this country who was born after 1976 and who will be no older than 50 this year is, of course, Julius Malema, who is turning 45 in April, seen as a youngster, a youth. But what does this lack of any young representation mean for the South African political landscape? Stay tuned, because in today's video we will be exposing the imminent leadership vacuum that is bound to hit the entire South African political landscape across parties within the next few years, as short as 10 years. The ANC came into power in this country riding the narrative of the liberation from oppression. Their political capital was entirely based upon the perception that they offered the only path to freedom and prosperity for the black masses of this country. Nelson Mandela was hailed as not only a national but an international icon and symbol of the victory of liberal democracy over all other forms or older forms of government. Throughout the Western world, people were adhering to the liberal paradigm set out by Japanese-American political philosopher Francis Fukuyama in his famous work, The End of History and the Last Man. In the book, Fukuyama writes that at the end of history, there are no serious ideological competitors left to liberal democracy. This was the prevalent mindset throughout all of the developed world during the early 90s when the ANC rose to power in South Africa. The days of illiberal political systems based on anything other than radical egalitarianism are long gone. Only liberalism and democracy, and more specifically the kind of liberal democracy embodied in the South African Constitution, would remain on this world, according to Fukuyama. Or so the classical liberals thought. So too the ANC thought. And for many decades the ANC indeed seemed completely invisible, enjoying the support of the vast majority of black voters at home, as well as the support of every member of the United Nations, whether they formed part of the Western or Eastern sphere of influence. But Francis Fukuyama was completely wrong in his assessment. And he wasn't just wrong, his prophecies ended up being the opposite of how the world would turn out today. Today, the Islamic world and Russia and China has turned its back on liberal democracy. Central European states such as Hungary and Poland have embraced Christian nationalism. And in America, Donald Trump shook up the political landscape more than any other president since the Second World War. America was gradually becoming more of a liberal democracy until Trump arrived in 2016, and since then some major anti-liberal reforms have taken place, including of course the protectionist economic policies of Trump, but also the overturning of the infamous Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision, as well as the executive order declaring all forms of affirmative action illegal in the United States. MAGA, Make America Great Again, or Trumpism, is at least by the majority of people who were willing to go out and vote, seen as the path forward for the American people, and a complete rejection of the liberal world order envisioned by Fukuyama. The world has changed radically over the past 2 years, and South Africa is increasingly becoming isolated and left behind as our political landscape remains stuck in the bygone era of international liberalism. Political parties such as the ANC and the MK, and even to some extent the DA, are trying to hold on to the political capital they built up during the second half of the previous century, when the post-World War consensus all over the planet tended towards globalization and liberalism for every country. While the world has moved on from this failed idea, the political establishment of South Africa has been far left behind. Political parties here still try to appeal to the electorate as if it was the 90s, and everyone believed in multiculturalism and the ideal of this rainbow nation. But today, those liberal ideals are completely outdated. Ramaphosa and his GNU cabinet simply cannot count on the international support that Mandela enjoyed. The political capital of the struggle against apartheid is far gone, and now it seems like a serious leadership vacuum has emerged, which has the potential to bring many of the old political parties to their knees. Indeed, because of the outdated political paradigm prevalent in this country, young black South Africans especially seem to become more and more alienated from the political elite every single year. Moreover, political parties are increasingly being characterized by infighting between old struggle veterans who are out of touch with the real realities facing South Africans every day. And with not a single promising young political leader under 50 rising to the fore in South Africa, we can expect declining voter turnout and political apathy to characterize this year's municipal election and all elections for the foreseeable future, especially among younger black voters. The reality is that the only relatively young prominent political figure in South Africa, the only one born later than the mid-70s, Julius Malema, is also now being reduced to irrelevance as he loses support with his every election and his ever-increasing legal woes and the threat of a criminal record leaving him with ever-shrinking room for political maneuver. We highlighted everything that you need to know about the fall of Malema in a recent video on this channel, which you can check out by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right now. And please do remember to support our work by becoming a paid member of the Willem Petzer Group. Only with your help are we able to produce videos of this quality every morning. Simply follow these steps. Goodbye and God bless.